Veterans Day is a time to remember those who have served our country, particularly in battle or from wounds they suffered in battle. Veterans Day honors all of those who have served the country in war or peace, dead or alive, although it's largely intended to thank living veterans for their sacrifices. In 1968, Congress passed the Uniform Holiday Bill to ensure that a few federal holidays, Veterans Day included, would be celebrated by our country. Since we can't honor our vets in person this year, let's take a moment to watch this video and reflect on those who have served our country. Thank you.
Origins of the U.S. Armed Forces. The U.S. National Guard. Originally called the Massachusetts Colonial Militia, the first units of the National Guard were organized on December 13, 1636, to defend the Massachusetts Bay Colony. The National Guard contains the three oldest units in the U.S. Armed Forces, the 101st, 181st, and 182nd Divisions, which are still in existence today. There is also an air branch of the National Guard, which defends the skies above our country and is older than the Air Force branch. Americans continue to serve in the National Guard on a full-time and part-time basis. The U.S. Army. The U.S. Army was the second branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, founded on June 14, 1775. Even before we were a nation, we had an army. After victories in Revolutionary Boston, which saw the British driven out of the city, the Second Continental Congress adopted the Massachusetts Militia as its official army and placed it under the command of General George Washington. It is a land-based military branch which serves to provide peace and security to all parts of the U.S., to implement and support national policies and objectives, and to overcome those who threaten peace and security throughout the world. Since 1775, the U.S. Army has been successful in these missions. Today, the U.S. Army is the largest of the military branches and continues to serve us at home and abroad. The U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy is the world's largest and most powerful navy. It is bigger than the next 13 navies combined. The Navy was founded on October 13, 1775, born out of the Continental Navy of the Revolutionary War. The Navy was all but disbanded by 1783, but revitalized in 1794, when 6 frigates were ordered by the U.S. government to fight the Barbary pirates in North Africa and to defend U.S. shipping. Since that time, the Navy has increasingly allowed the United States to extend its might across the seas, to defend us from invasion, and to ensure freedom of international waters. The Marines. The U.S. Marines were founded 5 months after the Army and 1 month after the Navy on November 10, 1775, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Marines were actually disbanded between 1783 and 1798. Their re-establishment occurred on July 11, 1798. The Marines are considered an equal branch of the U.S. Navy and operate in concert with them. Other duties include transporting members of the executive branch, constituting a band for special formal occasions, and as acting guard to the Department of State, which includes all of our embassies abroad. This unique branch of the U.S. Armed Forces provides a wide variety of services to our country and is indispensable to modern military operations. U.S. Air Force. The U.S. Air Force initially existed as a branch of the U.S. Army called the Army Air Corps, founded on August 1, 1907, and remained part of the Army until September 18, 1947. Its extensive use in World War II and increasing importance in the Cold War made it necessary to become a separate branch of the U.S. military. Its primary mission is air operations, but also includes missions not otherwise assigned to other branches of the armed forces. It is the largest and most dominant air force in the world, and serves as a major deterrent to potential threats. The U.S. Coast Guard. The U.S. Coast Guard, founded as the Revenue Marine on August 4, 1790, under the direction of Alexander Hamilton. The Coast Guard was initially constituted to collect customs duties and was later combined with the U.S. Life-Saving Service to form the modern Coast Guard on January 28, 1915. This was in response to growing tensions in the Atlantic Ocean during World War I. Today, the U.S. Coast Guard maintains maritime safety, security, and stewardship. Additionally, it provides humanitarian aid on the U.S. coasts and in areas which border the United States. The U.S. Coast Guard is an often overlooked but daily contributor to the safety and security of our nation. The U.S. Space Force, the most recently established member of the uniformed U.S. Armed Forces, is the Space Force. It is a branch of the U.S. Air Force and was originally organized as the Air Force Space Command in 1982. On December 20th, 2019, it became a separate branch of the Armed Forces. Its first graduating class for the Air Force Academy was sworn in during April of this year. The Space Force has already conducted their first satellite launch, named an officer corps, and nominated their first astronaut. With increased competition from China and other foreign powers in space, the Space Force will have no shortage of activity in the near future. The combined elements of the United States Armed Forces have a proud history, an ever-watchful eye on the present moment, and ambitious preparations for a secure future. What liberties, safeties, and securities we enjoy in our lives come through the tireless efforts and resources invested by service members worldwide. We take this time, on this day, to honor those who serve.
Joined the Marine Corps I was in 8th grade when 9/11 happened, and that was a very scary time to see the different images coming across the TV screen. I understood what was going on, but I didn't understand the bigger picture. But I knew I was angry about what happened, that innocent people were hurt, and at that point in my life, I decided to join the military, and when I graduated high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I don't know if you want me to say more. I can go into a lot more detail, but
if you'd like to go into any detail about your serving and kind of was it what you expected?
Okay. I'm actually going to say the first part over and then I'll go into that too. Okay. The reason I joined the Marine Corps was because I was in 8th grade when 9/11 happened. I was in Mr. Rob's science class, and I remember feeling scared, but also very angry about what was happening. And that was a point in my life that I decided I wanted to stop bad things that were happening in the world at the time. And when I graduated high school, I ended up enlisting in the Marine Corps. At my time in service, I've served overseas in Afghanistan as well as Djibouti in the Horn of Africa. And both were great experiences. I got to meet some wonderful people from different cultures. I also made some lifelong friends. And overall, my service was the best decision that I ever made, was joining the Marine Corps.
Hi, I'm Jeff Galfa. The reason why I wanted to serve my country really goes back to my father was quite a bit older than me. He was actually 50 years older than me, and when I was a kid, a lot of people thought he was my granddad. But my dad was a infantryman in World War II, and I actually have a picture here. Hold on. Here's my dad in front of a half track. That's kind of like a truck in the front, but it had gears in the back. My dad was served from 1942 to 1945. It's an interesting story because my dad was badly injured at the Battle of the Bulge, which was really the pretty much the last big battle in Europe in World War II. And he had a 90% disability. He had to relearn everything, memory, everything. But you know what he knew? He knew that his time in the service was the greatest thing that he ever did. The only thing that he did say to me, though, is that, you know what, if you're going to go into the service, you should go in the Navy. And he said, you know, the food's better, and I think it's a lot safer. And so, you know, when I got into school, I was pretty good in science and math. I ended up going into as a chemical engineer in college, and somewhere around in the third year or so, I said, I don't really know what I want to do when I get done with this. And of course, coincidentally, that's when the recruiter came on campus and said, hey, how would you like to be a submariner? We'll teach you how to run a nuclear power plant. And I said, well, that would be pretty neat, sure. Not knowing really a lot about it. It was a driver, and at first, of course, my mom was really shocked by me saying I wanted to go in, and my dad was really excited about it. And then honestly, it caused us a lot better bonding. He thought it was fun that I went in, and and it was exciting, and I was really happy I did it. And I only stayed for 5 years, and then I went off. I had another career afterwards as an engineer and then as an attorney. But I'm so thankful that I did it.
So what Veterans Day means to me is a day for me to kind of reflect back on my time in service and to celebrate with my brothers and sisters in arms that have shared those experiences with me, and to kind of think about my patriotism and why I decided to serve the country, and just my feelings about like how I think it's important for people to serve others, and I think it's an American principle to look out for each other, and as opposed to Memorial Day, which is kind of the day where we reflect on our friends and comrades that we've lost, Veterans Day is kind of more of a celebration for me.
Well, it means a lot of memories for me. It's been 75 years since end of World War II, and a lot of things have happened. And I've always tried to honor Veterans Day, and we did it before ever going in the Army. I mean, I felt I was a patriotic young kid. I was participating in a lot of parades, was thought highly of our veterans, still do.
So I'm talking to you today about my service in the United States Marine Corps. I joined when I was actually 17. So, I just wanted something a little bit more exciting in my life than working and going to school. And it just didn't seem like I was, in a direction that I wanted to be. To be blunt, I was kind of bored with my life. I decided that I was going to join the military. It was not something I thought about. It was not something I had, in school and planned for it. It was just kind of a real spontaneous decision. And so that was my plan when I drove there. So I walked into the recruiting station and I told the recruiter, I said, I'm interested in joining the Marine Corps. Sign me up. You don't need to give me a sales pitch. You don't need to tell anything to convince me otherwise. I'm ready to go. But I was 17. So I was able to sign up at that time, but I had to wait until I turned 18 to leave. So I was on the delayed entry program. And it was quite the experience. I have to say that it's tough, it's rough, it's amazing. And you know what? It was exciting and it was fun. And I met a whole bunch of people that were just amazing people from all over the United States. And it really defined who I am today. I mean, that kind of experience, I was in for 4 years active duty. I have an honorable discharge. Honored to have served in the Marine Corps, and my husband was honored to have served in the Army. And now my son has told me that every time he puts on that uniform, he knows he did the right choice in joining the Navy. So he's in the Navy right now. So that's my story. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Remember veterans not only on Veterans Day, but remember them every day, because they served, and that service needs to be appreciated by everybody. And so definitely honor a veteran. Do what you can. We have American Legions in the area. We have VFWs in the area. We have all sorts of veterans organizations. Volunteer your time or get to know a veteran, adopt a veteran, hear their stories, and let them know that they're appreciated for their service. Thank you very much.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, our country watched in horror the Twin Towers in New York being taken down by planes. Then, the Pentagon building was hit, bringing the reality of heartbreak back to Naperville, when Commander Dan Schanauer, a Naperville native and 1979 Central graduate, was killed in the Pentagon attack. Naperville, Illinois was one of the first cities in America to dedicate a memorial to those who died on September 11th. The memorial was inspired by Naval Commander Dan Schanauer. Dedicated on September 11th of 2003, the memorial is nestled between the DuPage River and the Municipal Center in downtown Naperville. The memorial takes its theme from an article written by Commander Schanauer entitled "Freedom Isn't Free." It includes more than 140 faces created by Naperville schoolchildren, symbolizing the casualties of September 11th. These faces are molded onto the surface of a 48-foot retaining wall that serves as the backdrop to the memorial. The memorial also incorporates an eternal flame and integrates a sculpture made up of 100 pounds of rubble from the damaged portion of the Pentagon, a twisted steel beam from the World Trade Center, and granite from the Pennsylvania region where Flight 93 crashed after passengers took on the hijackers. Engraved into the sculpture are an outline of Commander Schanauer's blueprint, the insignias of New York area rescue workers, and the number 93 in memory of the Pennsylvania crash victims. It is a beautiful remembrance to those who lost their lives and to the Naperville native among them. For Hawk TV, I'm Peter.
Naperville Park District, in collaboration with the Naperville Healing Field Committee, has hosted the Healing Field of Honor at Rotary Hill 4 times over the past 11 years. Displaying over 2,000 American flags on Rotary Hill during this event creates a stunning tribute to our military and their families. This also raises money through Operation Support Our Troops America to assist veterans and their loved ones. This isn't the only way veterans have been honored in the area. Naperville has many tributes, including the statue along Washington that honors the 5 locals who served in different branches of the military during World War II and all came home. The VFW in Naperville has a Blue Star Memorial, a tribute to the armed forces who have defended our country. On Gardner is Veterans Park, a beautiful space where 8 flagpoles fly the flags of the military branches and our country. In Cantiggy, just a short drive away, tanks, military vehicles, and memorials are all there to honor and remember veterans by letting people get up close and personal with them. May we think of freedom, not as the right to do as we please, but as the opportunity to do what is right. Thank you, veterans.